Hey guys, welcome to Arsenal Fan TV. This is the preview for Arsenal versus Southampton this Tuesday night in the return of the Premier League. We do go into this game on somewhat of a disappointing result against Chelsea in the league, although we did get that winning mentality back in the game against Burnley. The 2-1 win, which should restore some confidence within the side, but our winning ways in the Premier League have to be put back on track in this game against the Saints. We have recently lost to Chelsea, like I say. I'm not going to say disappointing results on the road against Stoke and Liverpool. Two games which we rarely do win away from home, and given the other top sides haven't gone to those grounds and picked up all 3 points, I do look back at those results as being fairly decent, but we should be thankful that we've gotten through this patch of having all these injuries and we're still there at the right end of the table, just 3 points off Leicester, level 1 points with Manchester City. I know a couple of weeks ago against Chelsea we were all having a meltdown about how we were out of the Premier League title race, but in perspective we're still up there. We've gotten through this patch where all these injuries have occurred. We've got Alexis Sanchez coming back, Francis Coquelin started against Burnley. A very exciting time to be an Arsenal fan, especially with the addition of El Nene into the team, so I am excited to see how this last phase of the season will pan out. But we have got to get a win against Southampton. That goes without saying. It won't be an easy game, and we're not really helped that with the news that Tom Rosicky is going to be out for 6 weeks. We should be thankful in a way that it's not a pivotal player to the Arsenal side, but nonetheless I'm absolutely devastated that Rosicki's going to be out for a further 6 weeks after just getting back into the Arsenal side against Burnley, coming onto the pitch for about 20 or 30 minutes. The bloke's absolute class in my opinion, and for him to get yet another injury after just coming back into the side, it does really show that age is taking a toll on his body. But I do still think, irrespective of that, he can offer so much to this Arsenal team. So for him to be out for a big patch of the season now is rather devastating, like I say. But I mean, it's something we've got to deal with, and I should reiterate, at least it's not someone that's so pivotal to this Arsenal side, but he is a player that can offer a boost, especially at this point in the season. But this game against Southampton, they've recently had a couple of great results, winning 3-0 against West Brom, 2-0 against Watford, and most notably the 1-0 win away from home against Manchester United. And as good as Southampton were in that game, has to be said, United were absolutely diabolical. Charlie Austin getting on the score sheet to make it 1-0. And I think he's an excellent acquisition for Southampton. I honestly think Charlie Austin could do a job at practically any club in the Barclays Premier League. Whether he'd start for those respective teams, I don't know. But he is a player that really does seem to be able to get goals consistently whatever team he's playing in. Was excellent at QPR for the time that he was there. Joined the Southampton side, scored on his debut, and just seems to have a lot of ability to back up his towering figure. And really is a player that we've got to watch in this game. Of course, the player that causes all the problems in the 4-0 defeat at St Mary's earlier on in the season on Boxing Day. A game that we all want to forget was Shane Long. But they've got a lot of options going up top, the likes of Pella, who I think is ruled out for this game, but they've got Shane Long as well, like I mentioned, low centre of gravity, very good finish on him, typically had his best game of the season against us last year, so he's a player to watch. And Charlie Austin as well, another player that we've got to be wary of in this game. Now Southampton have tied themselves up at the back as well. They are putting in some more sturdy defensive performances, which is something that before all their recent wins I would have said that's something we can expose, but Ronald Koeman does seem to have certainly identified that as a weakness for Southampton, and they have looked a lot more reassuring at the back. Jose Fonte putting in some consistently good performances, two excellent fullbacks, and it is going to be a defence that is difficult for us to breach. But in contrast to the game on Boxing Day where we got hammered 4-0, Southampton totally outclassed us, I think this will be a conflicting performance in a sense similar to the way it was last season where we looked diabolical away from home and then got the win at home, which still wasn't a convincing win, but I do think we'll look a lot better in this game with all our players coming back from injury, likes of Alexis Sanchez coming back into the Arsenal team, got a goal and an assist against Burnley. We've got Francis Coquelin coming back. I assume he'll start the game. I do want to see a more reassured defensive performance from Arsenal. I'm still yet to be totally convinced by Gabriel and Koscielny at the back, which I know sounds completely contradictory on my behalf. Earlier on in the season, I was screaming out for these two to be starting every single game for Arsenal, but they don't really seem to complement each other just yet. I do think there is still potential for these two to have an excellent partnership for many years to come, but they just need to get to know each other a bit more. They need to communicate a bit more. But at the moment, it is looking a bit like when we had Koscielny and Vermaelen starting games, where the two players are so technically good in their own way that they can't really put a partnership together, and they are very good, unique individuals, but they can't seem to build a partnership together just yet. But it is exciting to see. Maybe they were just having off games against Burnley. Who knows? They have looked rather good this season whenever they have played, so I don't want to judge them too harshly just yet. I do think we noticeably miss Per Mertesacker when he is out the side, but saying that, I do think Gabriel has to be cementing a place in this Arsenal side, and I do think him and Koscielny are the partnership to come for many years. I just think they need to convince a few more people, such as myself, and I have no doubts whatsoever that they will be able to do that. We'll be will definitely be boosted by the likes of Aaron Ramsey and Mesut Ozil coming back into the side. We lost a lot of fluidity in the game against Burnley when those two weren't playing. So for them two to come back into the side should be exciting, and we should see a more naturally exciting game from Arsenal. As well as that, Francis Coquelin lining up alongside Aaron Ramsey, you would assume, in a midfield pivot. Something we haven't seen as of yet, and I'm personally excited to see how those two will cope in the midfield. I'm hoping it will be a solid midfield partnership. Both players full of energy. Aaron Ramsey will be allowed to be a little bit more expressive in his style of play. Of course, he wasn't able to do that so much when Flamini was alongside him, who hasn't got the same defensive capabilities as Francis Coquelin. So should be, I'm hoping we'll see a bit more from Aaron Ramsey, considering he's got a little bit more license to roam and get on the score sheet himself, as he's got Coquelin protecting himself in behind. We've got fullbacks coming in Bellerin and Monreal, linking up with their wingers in Campbell and Alexis, you would assume. I don't think Walcott has any right to be starting this game, given the miss he got against Burnley. Really has got to be finishing those kind of one-on-one chances. But yeah, the team picks itself for me, and in goal I'd go with Petr Cech, and at right back Hector Bellerin, Gabriel, Laurent Koscielny, Nacho Monreal, Francis Coquelin, Aaron Ramsey, Joel Campbell, Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez and Olivier Giroud. Like I say, should be a lot more fluid from the game we saw against Burnley, but nonetheless we can't underestimate this Southampton side. Got some very good players going up top, a very creative team. Ronald Koeman has got some excellent results on the board for the Saints recently, and it won't be an easy game. I'm just hoping the right Arsenal turn up, we get 3 points on the board, and in all honesty there can only be one result in this match, and it has to be going in our favour if we want to remain in this title challenge. But get your thoughts on the game in the comments box below. Let me know your team lineups. Subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV if you are new to the channel. Drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it, and as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon.